Hi, my name is Sally Backus, and I'm one of the owners of Backus Properties. Thank you for renting one of the properties we manage. This video is to acquaint you with the leasing process and review the documents that you'll be signing today. In front of you is the lease agreement and other documents that you'll be signing throughout the video. After the video, you will be given a folder with a copy of all the documents that you've signed. If you will be using an interpreter, it's very important that the interpreter be here today and also be available during your tenancy. Please make sure they are able to interpret any correspondence that you receive, as it may contain important information and instructions. The first document we're going through is called the Property Information Sheet. You received this information when you looked at the property. It is very specific for your new home and contains information regarding the rent, special terms and restrictions on this property, any addendums, what appliances are included, and what utilities you are responsible for. Please take a moment, pause this video, and initial the bottom of this document. The next document we have is called the acceptance letter, and that's what it says at the top. There's a list of documents that are provided in the folder to you today. These documents include the lease agreement, any addendums, a lead-based paint addendum, a bed bug addendum, house rules if appropriate for your property, HOA rules if appropriate for your property, information on satellite dish, information on your smoke detectors, a request for email information, and the utilities that you're responsible for. Instructions are also in this document to help you set up your tenant portal for future rent payments. There's a list of documents that are available on the website. They're not in your folder, but you can review them later. Those documents include the lead-based paint booklet, the EPA mold guide, maintenance instructions, maintenance request forms. We do require that these be in writing. They can be emailed or faxed or mailed or brought into our office. Also on the website are 30-day notice forms to use when you're ready to move, cleaning guidelines, normal wear and tear guidelines. On your acceptance letter, it also lists documents that will be provided at your move-in when you pick up your keys. That would be the move-in condition report done by a third-party vendor, and then a cleaning discrepancy report and a tenant condition report that you can fill out as appropriate. On your acceptance letter, it also lists the funds that are required now. That amount of money is to be paid by cashier's check or money order. It also lists the funds required at move-in. Move-in day is considered the day that you pick up your keys. Those funds also must be by cashier's check or money order. Your future rent will generally be paid through your rental portal. At the bottom of this acceptance letter, please sign an initial and date. We're ready now to start the lease itself. The first page of the lease will give the date of your rental agreement, and it gives the name of the owner and your name, the move-in date and the move-out date. The move-out date is always going to be the end of the month, even if you moved in during the middle of the month. There is information on how we give notices. It's essential that you keep us current with your email address, because often notices are given by email. It also discussed payment of rent. Rent is, if you're paying through the tenant portal, rent is to be paid by the 5th of the month. If you're paying any other method, it is to be paid by the 1st of the month. In any case, it's actually due on the 1st. It's just if you're paying through a rental portal, we give you a little extra time. Please read the instructions carefully on rent payment, because it's very important. If you're going to be mailing, we do not receive mail at this office. We use a P.O. box. That information is on your lease. There's a substantial late fee if it's not paid on time, 10%. So please make sure your rents are paid on time. There's several other fees listed, such as a service fee for preparing notices and an NSF fee if your rent were to not clear the bank. At the bottom of that page, there's a spot for you to initial. Please do so. Next, we're on to page 2. At the top of page 2, it discusses the security deposit. It's important that you review this now. You've given us a substantial security deposit, and we'd like very much for you to receive the full deposit back when you vacate. It'll be important that you read the section on security deposits so you'll know what you need to do to get your deposit back at the end of the tenancy. It also reviews utilities. They are to be put into your name with proof of that by the time you pick up your keys, so pay attention to that. It does discuss that the occupants listed on your application are the only occupants allowed to live in the property. You may have guests for up to 2 weeks, but anyone that's going to be longer than that, you must let the office know and get permission. Under condition, we will be giving you a form we filled out as to the condition of the property. It's called the move-in condition report. When you pick up your keys, you're going to be given 2 documents you may fill in. One of them indicates if the property is not clean in any way, because we assure you it is, and also any conditions that you want to make sure you're not charged for when you vacate. Those are to be filled out immediately and turned into the office. At the bottom of page 2, you'll find an article or a paragraph on assignment and subletting. We do not allow assignment, meaning you can't move out and assign your lease to someone else. You cannot sublet the property or substitute other tenants for you or move in additional tenants without permission from the company. So I'm going to ask you to pause at this point and then initial at the bottom of page 2. On page 3, it talks about keys. The keys will be changed right before you move in, the locks I should say. So you will know that the only person that has keys other than yourself is the office. Please do not rekey because we have already done that. If for some reason you must rekey, please get permission from the office and we can have it done for you. When you vacate, you will be returning all of the keys that you receive, plus any controls or entry cards or anything like that. If the keys are changed and we're not notified and are not able to gain access, then you would be paying the cost of the locksmith to rekey the property again. There's a section on vehicles that's very important. You have given us a list of the vehicles that you have on your application form. Those are the only vehicles we expect to be there on a long-term basis. Obviously you'll have guests, but other than that, only those vehicles. If you sell one and get another, you should let the office know. If you buy another property or another vehicle, you should let the office know. Your garage or carport must be arranged to allow at least one vehicle in the garage or carport. The garage is to be used primarily for the parking of vehicles. It is not to be used primarily for storage. You should not have a number of cars. That means one of them must be regularly parked on the street, because we review the application with the idea that all of your vehicles will be either in the garage or parked in front of the garage. Recreational vehicles are not allowed without prior permission, and all vehicles on your property must be operable, currently licensed, and in good repair. And then again, let us know if you change your vehicle. The section on animals is particularly important. If you have an animal listed on your application that has been accepted, you're going to be signing an animal addendum. That means that particular animal has been accepted, not a substitute animal. The animal addendum will require you to have a picture of the animal, a proof of the animal being neutered, shots, and licensed. This is important. No babysitting of animals, no visiting animals, no substitute or additional animals. If that is found to be the case, there is an immediate charge of $500, and then possibly you'll be allowed to stay for an additional deposit, but not guaranteed. We do require an additional deposit if we've approved an animal on your application. But again, remember, unauthorized animal, substantial fees. We do require that you have renter's insurance, and you'll see that section under the paragraph labeled insurance. The owner's insurance does not cover your personal possessions should there be a fire, flood, or any other such damage. Your tenant insurance is what covers that. So it's important for you to have it, and we do require it. It's quite inexpensive. If you have any questions about this, the property manager assistant that has been helping you should be able to answer that for you. Also on this page is a section on use of premises. This is a residence that you're renting. It is not a business location. If you're going to be having a business, that should have been on your application, and it would have been approved if possible. Otherwise, please know we do not allow businesses in a residence. Entry and inspection is item 22 on your lease agreement. We do, by law, unless it's an emergency, we must give 24 hours notice before we enter the property. We most commonly give much more than 24 hours notice, generally a couple of weeks, if we're doing a periodic inspection or for whatever other reason. If it's for rent or for sale, it's important that you cooperate with these appointments. If it's a shorter reason and you need to reschedule, we're generally able to do that, but we do need to have access if we've given you notice for an inspection. There is a cost if you're non-cooperative with that. If we are not able to do an inspection as scheduled, you would be paying the cost of the reinspection, which is at this point $65. It could be going up after that. The last section on this page is called breach within lease period. The shorthand for this is breaking the lease agreement. Sometimes happens, people get transferred out of town or for whatever reason, but it's going to be expensive and you need to know that up front. This is an important legal document that you're signing, and we do enforce the terms of the breach within lease period paragraph. Their penalties might include additional rent, management fees, advertising cost, utilities, move in and move out, rekeying, and there could be other fees as well. I'm going to ask you now to pause and initial on the bottom of page 3. Everyone that is on the rental agreement should be initialing on these pages. We're now on to page 4. We asked you for contact information and employment information. This was on your application, but it's not uncommon that people's cell phones, emails, or work changes. We do need to be current on all the ways to access you. So if you have changed your phone number or your email or your employment, please let us know. If we cannot reach you with the numbers that we have, there is a charge to track you down and get you that information. Get us that information. So please take care of that. Under rules and regulations, which is paragraph 26, you'll find a wide variety of pretty general rules and regulations. Basically, be polite to your neighbors. You are responsible for your guests. Make sure that there's not excessive noise, etc. Read through it. If you have any questions, ask the property manager assistant that's been helping you. Below that, it references homeowners associations. Not all properties are a part of a homeowners association, but if yours is, we will be giving you information about their rules and regulations also. Then it's time to talk about yard maintenance. Some properties have yard maintenance provided by the owner, and that would be on the property information sheet. That was the first page that we looked at. If you are responsible for yard maintenance, then you're responsible for mowing, weeding, edging, watering, cleanup, trimming, and fertilizing. If we do an inspection and it's not being done, we generally will give you an opportunity to bring it up to standard, but then we'll order it done and you will be paying the extra cost of that, which can be significant. So try to keep up on the yard, don't let it get ahead of you. Beneath the yard maintenance section is Megan's Law. This is required by the state of California. There is a website that you can access that will talk to you about any sex offenders or other restricted persons that are in your neighborhood. And this is simply to give you that information. The next section is under smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. There will be appropriate numbers of these at move-in, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. The smoke detectors are 10-year non-tamperable smoke detectors. No batteries are required, nor can they be removed. So please do not tamper with the smoke detector. It will cause it to stop functioning, and you will be responsible for the replacement of it. The carbon monoxide detector does have batteries and should be replaced as needed. You should check both of these or all of these items monthly and let us know if they're not working. Our job is to replace them if they're not functioning properly, but you are not to tamper with the smoke detectors. The next section is fireplaces. If you have a fireplace that burns, now we're not talking about electric, we're talking about a fireplace that you burn wood in. It will be clean when you move in. We have it cleaned and inspected before our tenants move in. You are required to do that at your vacancy. It's also important that you burn the right kind of wood. So if you do have a fireplace, please read the section on fireplaces. The last section on this page is under alterations. You are not allowed without permission to paint or wallpaper, to change locks, to put stickers up that cannot be removed without damage. You are allowed to hang pictures on appropriate hanging hooks. These are ones that can be removed without damaging the wall, or if you're using proper picture hanging hooks, they will leave a very small hole in the wall. You are not allowed to attempt to repair the holes yourself, so when you're moving out, please do not spackle or paint because it actually causes more damage than it solves. This is the bottom of page 4, and please pause this tape and initial at the bottom. We're at the top of page 5 now, talking about tenant responsibilities. There's quite a list of responsibilities, and it's best really that you read them, but I'll give you some highlights. There's some maintenance guidelines, things that are important for you to know, cleaning guidelines. Certain items cannot be stored on the property, and that's listed. You are responsible for reporting problems. So if there's something not functioning, you are responsible for reporting that to us. It is to be done in a written format on a maintenance instruction form. And you'll find that on the website. We can also send you home with some if you'd like, or however, but it does need to be on the proper format, and it does need to be reported to us. If there is a problem that is not reported and causes additional damage, that's going to be your cost. There's information of what to do if there's a break-in. There is information on emergencies. What do you do with an emergency? Most important is make sure it's an emergency. That information is on our emergency hotline, but also if it is not an emergency and you do access the emergency hotline, there is an additional fee for that. You're expected to do simple repairs such as light bulbs, carbon monoxide batteries, etc. Space heaters are not allowed because they can be a fire hazard. So if you do not feel you can get the house warm enough, talk to your property manager. Proper insect control is your responsibility. Don't let that get out of hand. Yard maintenance, it talks a little about yard maintenance, but a reminder that if it's appropriate for you, if the owner doesn't provide yard maintenance, you want to do it. The dryer vent is a possible fire hazard. We do ask that you keep the dryer vents cleared out, an important part of just keeping the house safe. If you're going to be cleaning using bleach, you should never use straight bleach. A lot of people think that will be great for toilets. It isn't. It takes the surface off. And you should not be using bleach tablets in toilets, such as when they turn the water blue, they're going to be damaging the toilet. There's additional items under tenant responsibilities. You are never to climb on the roof or use ladders. If any of these items are found to be not compliant on your part, there is a fee, an additional fee for correction. Often we get calls from people that have mildew in the house, commonly in the bathroom, sometimes other area. It's always caused by lack of ventilation and cleaning. So it's important to stay on top of it. You'll find additional information on our website as to how to do that. You're also always welcome to call the property manager. There's a few other items that would probably be a good thing to review. At this point, please pause the video, make sure you've reviewed this page, and then initial at the bottom. Here we are at the last page of the lease. This is page 6. It talks about move-in and move-out procedures. You will be coming to the office to pick up your keys on your move-in day, bringing funds and perhaps proof that your utilities have been transferred. The move-out procedures are a little bit more complicated than that. We've given you quite a bit to look at here, but when the time comes, we'll also give you additional information. When you get to the bottom of the page, it's going to ask you some questions. Have you watched the video? Make sure that you initial that and sign it as well. Do you have an interpreter? If so, we need the name of the interpreter and the date and the ID of the interpreter. If there's any special terms on your property, a lot of properties are just different from other properties. So if you have special terms, they're going to be listed there under Other. It's your chance to look and ask any questions you have. At the bottom, your name is already there. We would need you to sign and date. So let's pause now so that you can review this last page and make sure that your signature and initials are in every place they need to be. So we're done with the lease part, but we have some addendums that we need to talk about. The first is called a lead-based paint addendum. If the house was built or the property was built before 1978, underneath all the layers of paint, it probably has paint with lead in it. Sometimes not, but commonly. So what we're telling you is we have no notice of that. This is you acknowledging that we have told you that it possibly does have lead-based paint and that we have no knowledge of it. So please stop the video now, review this, and initial and sign as indicated on the addendum. The next one is the bed bug addendum. This is a new law required by the state of California. Thankfully, we have really not had problems with bed bugs, but state of California wants us to tell you what to do in case you have bed bugs. So read through this. If you have questions, ask. We have no reason to think that your property has bed bugs, but we need to give you the information about what to do. At the bottom, there is a place for you to sign and date, and please do so. Why don't you pause right now and do that? The next page is the email addendum. This is the email that we're going to contact you with, your primary email address. Please fill this out and please let us know if that changes. On that page, in addition to giving us your email, you'll be giving us your signature and a date. The last addendum that we have here, well, not quite last, but almost last, is the satellite addendum. Different properties are set up for satellite dishes in different ways. The addendum that you have in your packet will explain what's appropriate on your property, how you're allowed to have a satellite dish, and what's important to make sure that it does not damage the property. So read through it, and at the bottom you'll be signing your name. All of the tenants on the lease will be signing the name. So we're going to pause just for a minute for that. You may have in your folder a addendum that's marked special addendum. This is just for your property, and it covers areas that are unique to this property. It might include items such as a septic addendum or a well addendum or a wildlife addendum or a farm life addendum. It's a variety of things that it might cover. So read through them. This is your property only that has these addendums, and at the bottom you will want to sign. So we'll pause here so you have a chance to do that. The last item I have for you is instructions for your smoke detectors. Because these are new smoke detectors that do not have regular batteries, there's instructions on how to turn it off if it's buzzing because of steam or a small amount of smoke. It also tells you how to check it each month. So please take a look at that and initial at the bottom of the page. I'm done with my part. Thank you very much for your attention to the video. We hope you found it useful. A lot of our tenants feel that it has made them feel more comfortable with the signing of the lease. When you're done, please notify the staff if you have any questions, or tell them if you're ready to finish the process. At this time, we will be collecting the deposit as well as confirming your move-in appointment. Congratulations on your new home.